SWAT, the Special Weapons and Tactics, is the modern blueprint. Think high-risk warrants, barricaded suspects, and hostage rescue. Fast entries, clean command. The LAPD model set the tone. Structured teams, layered command, and playbooks you can run at 2 a.m. under pressure. What matters most? Contain, communicate, then act. Negotiators buy time, entry teams hold angles, snipers lock sightlines. Gear supports the plan. Ballistic shields, drones, breaching tools, less lethal options, and comms that never die mid-stack. It's not all door kicks. Most jobs end with compliance after pressure and negotiation. The win is a safe surrender, not a dramatic shootout. BOPE, the Special Police Operations Battalion of Rio's military police. Simply put, the team that goes in when the urban terrain becomes a vertical labyrinth. Their mission? To protect lives and stabilize crises on hillsides and alleyways and on staircases where patrol cars can't go. On a typical operation, it works like this. Surround, negotiate, advance with discipline. First, they secure the perimeter to protect the neighborhood. Then they attempt to resolve the situation through dialogue. If that fails, the entry is swift and focused, always considering the residents who need to emerge unharmed. The environment dictates the strategy. Rooftops, windows, alleys, all demanding attention simultaneously. The key is to control angles on multiple levels, like navigating a building with no elevator and countless unexpected exits. The human factor? Fire is only used when absolutely necessary, and a tactical medic is always on hand to treat the wounded immediately. The ultimate goal isn't to take territory. It's to minimize harm and resolve the crisis. BOPE proves that calm and methodology can prevail even in the most confined urban spaces. GIGN, National Gendarmerie Intervention Group. In plain English, the group that intervenes to save hostages and resolve crises with as few shots fired as possible. Their core mission? To protect lives on planes, trains, farms, and in buildings, wherever tensions are high and spaces are confined. On a typical mission, the sequence is clear. Observe, negotiate, and act only when there is no other alternative. First, they map out the scenario. Routes, windows, schedules. Next, they keep communication channels open to de-escalate tension. If negotiations break down, they execute a swift, coordinated entry, with each member knowing their next step even if the plan deviates. The terrain? Often public transport and open areas. This requires silent movement, lightweight gear, and entries that last seconds, not minutes. A key human element, the concept of saving before winning. They prefer a surrender that prevents injuries over an epic finale. When it's done right, almost no one notices, and that's the whole point. GIGN shows that patience is a form of strength when a life is on the other side of the door. GSG 9, Grenzschutzgruppe 9, or Border Protection Group 9, formerly part of the Border Guard, now within the German Federal Police. In simple terms, the unit that resolves hostage situations and severe threats through meticulous planning and swift action. Their core mission? To end the crisis with minimal collateral damage, particularly in public transport and venues. On a typical operation, the script is study, rehearse, execute. First, they gather blueprints, routes, and schedules. Then they rehearse it like a stage play. Who talks, who breaches, who covers. When the window of opportunity opens, they enter at the precise moment, with short steps and simple, defined roles. The terrain? Stations, trains, terminals, and office buildings. All of it demands discrete movement and clean lines of sight. A key human element, economy of sound. They speak softly, prevent gear from clattering, and save the noise for the exact right second. This preserves the element of surprise and reduces the risk to those inside. GSG 9 proves that training buys you time when the door is breached. CTSFO. Counter-terrorism Specialist Firearms Officer. Put simply, the tier of British police trained for severe, ongoing attacks on the tube, across bridges, and in crowded city centers. Their mission? To save lives quickly, through national coordination and a measured use of force. On a typical call-out, the rhythm is contain, intercept, and make entry when necessary. They form containment cordons to close off routes. Negotiators keep the line open, and teams advance if the threat remains active. This is all done with a common language between forces, the renowned CTSFO network, allowing units from different cities to work as one. The terrain, stations, stadiums, and tourist areas. Mobility is key. Motorcycle pairs arrive on scene first, followed by armed response vehicles and fast roping from helicopters when ground access is compromised. The human element, a country with a low gun culture, demands high accountability. The operator focuses on priority of life and tactical medicine from minute zero. The tourniquet is out of the pouch before the first step is taken. CTSFO proves that well-trained coordination is faster than haste. YAMAM, in Hebrew, Special Central Unit, the counter-terrorism unit of the Israeli Border Police. The bottom line, get in fast, save hostages, and shut down attacks in dense urban environments. The mission is clear. Arrive before the situation can escalate. On a typical operation, the order is simple. Intelligence first, action second. Intel provides the who, where, and how. The team prepares simultaneous entry routes and a ready-made backup plan. When the window opens, they make a short, coordinated entry. One takes the hallway, another secures the door, a third extracts the hostage. The terrain? Crowded cities, alleyways, stairwells, like probably in markets. Micro-drones check corners, flashbangs break the enemy's initiative, and the tactical medic is embedded with the team. The human element, it's not about shooting first. It's about a silent approach and making the call at the right second. The less noise, the better the outcome. YAMAM shows that speed, when guided by context, saves more lives. Alpha Group, an assault unit of the FSB, the Federal Security Service, Russia's security agency. In plain terms, a team created for counterterrorism and high-stakes hostage rescues, where the solution must be swift and decisive. On a typical operation, the logic is simple. Get close unseen, breach from multiple points, and end it before chaos can erupt. The teams have divided roles. Who fixes the target? Who breaches the doors? Who extracts the hostages? Everything is timed down to the second. The terrain, apartment buildings, offices, and public transport. Explosive breaching is an option, but the rule is fire control to protect those inside. Light and sound become tools, darken, disorient, and act at the peak of shock. The human element, the myth is brute force. The reality is harsh choreography with simple roles that leave no room for doubt. The clearer the role, the fewer mistakes in a narrow hallway. Alpha Group shows that dominating the first second changes everything that follows. GEO, the Special Operations Group of the National Police. In plain terms, the Spanish team for hostage rescue, counterterrorism, and high-risk arrests in any environment, on the street, in the subway, at a port, or at an airport. Their mission, end the threat quickly and keep the city running. On a typical mission, the workflow is isolate, assess, and enter when necessary. First, they lock down routes and de-escalate with a negotiation. Then they define primary and secondary routes, so they aren't dependent on a single entry point. If the situation doesn't yield, the entry is short and coordinated, with an extraction team ready just steps away. The terrain, often transportation hubs, ships, terminals, and runways. Because of this, ladder boardings, fast boats, and upper-level entries are routine, arriving from where the suspect least expects. The human element, less spectacle, more restored transit. Victory is when the hostage is out, the suspect surrenders, and the port is back in operation. GEO shows that adapting to the terrain is half the battle. NOCS, Central Security Operations Service of the State Police. In plain terms, the team for hostage rescue and high-risk arrests in the heart of historic cities. Their mission, get in fast, with minimal collateral damage in tight, crowded spaces. On a typical mission, the workflow is arrive discreetly, cover all angles, and strike with precision. They observe the doorway, the narrow hallway, the old window. Negotiation remains active until the very last second. If the opportunity arises, they make a clean entry, control hands, separate hostages, and clear the next room. The terrain, medieval alleyways, old buildings, and crowded squares. This requires lightweight gear and concise movements to avoid disturbing the environment. A borescope helps them see without opening doors, and lightweight shields offer protection at arm's length. The human element. The goal isn't a show of force, it's to end the crisis and let life resume. The tourist keeps taking pictures, the local goes back to their coffee. When it's done right, it's as if nothing ever happened. The takeaway, NOCS proves that discretion is just speed without the noise. RCMP, ERT, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Emergency Response Team. In simple terms, Canada's tactical response for armed, barricaded subjects, hostages, and crises in remote, cold locations. Their mission? To protect lives with patience and a surgical entry. On a typical mission, the workflow is establish wide containment, negotiate for extended periods, and act at the precise moment. They set up wide perimeters, create a safe bubble, and let dialogue de-escalate the situation. If that fails, they enter with clearly defined roles. Who holds an angle, who extracts, who treats the wounded, the terrain. From mid-sized cities to icebound villages, this requires 4R4 vehicles, helicopters, and optics that don't fog up, gloves that allow for reloading, NVGs for the long nights, and a tactical medic in the front line. The human element, victory often looks boring. No shots fired, ending in a surrender. That's by design. They prefer a few more hours in the cold over a few minutes too early that could elevate the risk. ERT proves that patience also saves lives. NSW TOU, New South Wales Police Tactical Operations Unit. In plain terms, the team that handles hostages, barricaded subjects, and crises on the coast, in the outback, and in the heart of Sydney. Their mission? To apply pressure without rushing and to act when the window is clear. Day to day, the method is layered containment, active negotiation, and coordinated entry. They create public separation, establish extraction routes, and position a tactical medic before the first step. If the scenario demands it, they arrive by helicopter, fast roping, or by sea via fast boat. The terrain, bridges, beaches, and skyscrapers. This calls for shields, compact carbines, drones, and Bearcat armored vehicles. The key is coordination. The main entry team talks, while a secondary team applies lateral pressure at the exact same second. The human element, clear public communication to prevent panic. Media kept at a safe distance. The neighborhood informed, the scene under control. TOU shows that a well-executed process is faster than haste. SAT, Japan's Special Assault Team. In simple terms, the team for hostages and critical threats in hyper-organized locations, stations, public buildings, and compact skyscrapers. Their mission, to resolve the situation without shutting down the city. On a typical mission, the order is, study silently, negotiate respectfully, and make an extremely brief entry. They map routines, cameras, and lines of sight. They maintain a dialogue that allows the suspect to save face. This reduces emotional triggers. If a window opens, the action lasts seconds. Hands are controlled, the hostage is extracted, the corridor is secured. The terrain? Narrow platforms and high passenger flows. This demands lightweight gear, borescopes, timed distraction grenades, and optics adjusted for urban lighting. The human element, it's not slow, it's economy of motion. When it works, the trains start running again, and almost no one realizes there was a crisis. SAT proves that precision reduces drama. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content. In the next video, CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, in a single line, the U.S. civilian agency for collecting and analyzing foreign intelligence, and when authorized, conducting covert action. In other words, every U.S. major intelligence agency explained.